Okay. Hello, lovelies. Welcome to our first live in a long time. Um, I'm going to be softening some recently acquired and somewhat a while ago acquired but never read book spines. So I have this one. This is a dark romance duology that I kind of started reading, but there's just a couple pages to it. I have acquired this one. I've been recommended this many times. I kind of followed the YouTube creators, Jill Barrett's uh, romance, fantasy heroine shorts. So I got the book, but the spine hasn't been softened yet. I've also had this one for a while. Um, but I heard that it ends in a cliffhanger, so I was waiting for the last book to come out, and the last book has officially come out, so now I'm going to be reading this one. I don't like this cover. I don't. This cover is not my thing. But one of my mutuals absolutely loves this book, so I'm gonna give it a shot. Um, yeah. So I'm gonna have to. So I'm gonna be softening these covers. I've shown people how I do this before, and I mentioned that the hardest thing for me to do was not see spoilers, and someone suggested just flipping the book around. So I'm gonna shout out to that person. I don't remember who it was who told me that, but that was a great idea, and so I'm doing that now. Book goblin. I'm Elizabeth today, but yes, I am also known as Book Goblin occasionally. So, um, so one of the most thank you, Izzy. That's adorable. I try to be positive in my content as much as possible because the way I see it is it's way harder to always be positive. So I was like, life is too easy. I'll just make it more difficult. A lot of fantasy lately. Any recommendations for fantasy books? I'm afraid you're going to have to narrow it down a bit. Like what kind of fantasy you like. I do love anything by Brandon Sanderson if you're going for like the high epic fantasy type stuff. Um, but like I love a lot of like Sarah K.L. Wilson's really good. Sylvia Mercedes is really good. I read a lot of fantasy. How to get out of a reading slump? I would love to know myself. So I'm just read. I'm a little bit of a reading slump myself at the moment, so I'm just reading whatever looks really cool right now. That's really all I'm doing. I'm just looking at what looks cool. I ordered a whole bunch of books in the name of getting out of a reading slump, and we'll see if any of them stick. But if you figure out how to beat off a reading slump for good, like please let me know because that would be very cool. The forthcoming year, or just Stormlight 5? Stormlight 5 is going to be at the end of the year. I'm excited for the whole year. I'm usually optimistic about what's ahead, but that's hard to know. I'm really excited for the secret project from Brandon Sanderson, but like overall is the whole year. Like that's a hard one. Standalone is often. Standalones are a good way. I might need a bigger chat window. My husband's helping me keep up with questions. How do I soften the paperbacks? So I should go over this, shouldn't I? So what I'm doing is I have a paperback here. This is a dark romance duology. But I have the book open, and so I am taking a book from the front, a page from the front, and I am running my hands down along the edge here. And then I could do the other page from the back, and I do the same thing. I don't know if you can see it very well, but I'm doing it one page at a time, one page from the front, one page from the back. Okay, my husband has given me a very large screen here. Okay. Okay. Thank you, husband.
You see better now.
Yes, this is very good. Thank you, husband. Okay. I think y'all can see that, how I'm doing that. But I'm just going through and doing the whole thing to keep me from actually cracking the spine when I read this. Hopefully. Okay, let me see. All right. Questions in order for how I got them. Stopped your own writing for this video because you're so excited. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you're here. I love reading books in airports. That's one of my favorite things to do. Starting to write a fantasy novel. I do have a video I made a little while ago, which is my advice and resources for authors. So I would recommend checking that out. That's like the summary of all my advice for authors. It's on my channel somewhere. It's not too far back. So, I love Maggie Stiefvater. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but I love that book, Shiver. I was like obsessed with Shiver. It like I was like, all right, fine, I'll be into werewolf. Okay. Oh, you loved Dangerous Assassin. Thank you so much. Oh, you finished the series. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I loved reading Dangerous. I loved ending Dangerous Assassin. Like I will miss Amir and Dangerous. They've been like living in my head for 10 years. But I love that other people are getting to the end of the series and they're finding that it was enjoyable. It's a challenge to end series. Like I've read a few series where I like hated the endings, and so it was really important to me that I like do my best to give them a good ending. But I have gotten good feedback so far on what people think of the ending to Dangerous Assassin. So thank you very much. Okay.
I'm getting there.
Okay, I'm a little behind on comments because we had a disconnection. The Shatter Me series I have not read. Count of Monte Cristo. I haven't read the Count of Monte Cristo. Let's see. Fantasy recommendations. I'm gonna have to put together a video where I just talk about my favorite fantasy books in general, because fantasy books are just such a big thing, and I've read so many of them. Oh, Ellie's ordering Dangerous Assassin. I'm very excited. Yes, I'm very excited for you to read it as well. I love those characters so much. Okay, the chat's back up. You're I was too nice to Vesha. Oh, well. thank you. Still nice ending. Okay. Have I read Six of Crows? Steve Otter. Okay. Steve Otter is how you pronounce it. All right. Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that right. Thank you. So Six of Crows, I haven't. Are forcing. So I'm softening the spine of this book in order to keep it from cracking when I read the paperback. So I'm making it soft. I'm making it floppy. I'm floppifying my paperbacks to prevent the spine cracking. Book Goblin. Yes, I'm Book Goblin. Everybody knows me as Book Goblin now. People in my my grown up life, I guess you could call it, are starting to call me Book Goblin. It's very interesting. I have not read the Tad Williams Dragonbone Chair series. I read Tad Williams Shadow March series. I read Tad Williams Shadow March series the year my parents got a divorce. So that series was husband. No, no, husband. Husband, what are you doing? He's turning me into Book Goblin. Okay, I'm behind. All right. Waiting for the 4th and 5th. Oh, happy birthday, Energy. I don't know how to pronounce your username, but okay. Dangerous Trader. Wow, we're getting a lot of comments. I love Cardin. I love Card and Greenbrier. I was not expecting to like The Cruel Prince, The Folk of the Air as much as I did, but I did. Secret Project preview? Not yet. Husband, you're gonna have to help me keep up with all these comments. I'm gonna try to answer them all. Okay.
I'm sure they'll just repost them if they don't get
Okay.
answered.
Okay, so if I don't answer your comments, just go ahead and repost them. All right.
That's gonna help, of course.
Okay, so I'm getting some requests on romances with no spice. I did post a recommendation of that on my Instagram. It was a carousel. We have the sweetest relationship. Oh, I think we do. How long have we been together? We've been together almost
well
2.5 years. Like we dated for 8 months before we got
yes.
married.
Mhm.
And so we've been together about 2.5 years. We're about to have our second anniversary. So, have I read Harry Potter? I read Harry Potter as an adult because I wasn't allowed to read Harry Potter as a child.
As was I.
So I read Harry Potter as an adult, and like I understand why it was such a big deal. I became like low key obsessed there for a bit. But yes, I have read Harry Potter. That is one thing I have read. So Six of Crows, no. Percy Jackson, no. 3 weeks for delivery. Anything by Sylvia Mercedes. I really love Sylvia Mercedes. If you're waiting for Dangerous Assassin, I would recommend Sylvia Mercedes. She's like one of my favorites right now. An author I dislike. That's mean. I can't
There's
do
an obvious one on that one.
that. There's. What are you talking about?
I mean,
Oh.
George. I mean,
no, I don't have anything against George. I just get sad reading his stuff. I was not allowed to read Percy Jackson, but one of my really close friends, he really loved Percy Jackson. So, Marie Lu. I haven't read anything by Marie Lu. I don't think I've read that yet. I don't have a favorite book. I have top 5 favorite books. Husband. My husband's posting a poll in the chat. Oh, okay. Don't recommend the book Little Woman and Me. Okay. I don't know what your comment was. What happened? All right, the chat went away. Come back, chat. Yes. So Thomas Cromwell is a problematic historical character that I find very fascinating, and I kind of kidnapped him and put him in my book. So, yes, it was intentional that the character is named Cromwell. Yes, he's supposed to be called Cromwell. Favorite Harry Potter character? I have an answer to this. What is my answer to this? I know this. I know this answer. Probably Draco Malfoy. I'm not too proud of myself for that, but I don't think anyone who watches my stuff is surprised. I have, let's see, where was I? Goddess of Fate series. Why do I feel like, no, that was a different series. I don't know. I haven't read that one. Do I like Twilight? I have complicated feelings. I have a complicated relationship with Twilight. One of my very dear friends got into like writing and reading because of Twilight, so I can't be too mean to it. But Roses and Violets, I have not. The Thomas Cromwell. This dystopian subplot. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I might go back into reading dystopian. I got a little dystopian out there. I went through a dystopian phase, like with the Hunger Games and a few other books, but I might go back into I have not read anything by Colleen Hoover. I like Draco as a complex character. I also like what was it? I had a whole bunch of fictional characters that were like traumatized and a little bit evil that I told my brothers at the time that they were like my children, and so my little brother started calling them my sons of darkness. Um so like I feel like Draco would be one of my little babies. Small baby is also does lots of bad things. Cedric died. Oh, poor Cedric. Names for cats. Uh okay, so have my parents ever taken away my devices? I didn't have any devices. That was the thing, was I like didn't have any devices until I was like in my mid-teens, raised out in the middle of nowhere. So it was kind of a moot issue. Oh, Ellie's writing, that's amazing. Am I a book goblin in real life? Well, I mean, it's all based on my real life, so I guess so. Husband, you put a poll. Okay, all right. Um, it's a where did they go? Uh, small baby must protect. Exactly. I don't. So so like Grimdark, I have a complicated relationship with Grimdark because it makes me sad. So I don't generally like reading Grimdark. I have read a lot of A Song of Ice and Fire, like Fire and Blood. I have read what was The Witcher. I read The Witcher too, and I've read a few other like Grimdark series, but it makes me sad. So I generally like I have to pace myself reading it. I think that I have a lot of respect for George R. R. Martin, but like his books make me sad. So I don't read very many of them. The Warrior Cats. I have not read any of the Warrior Cats books. I feel like I know someone who read that though. Who was? I don't remember who I read.
My ex read them.
My husband's ex-girlfriend read them. That's right. Okay. Turning. I keep trying to read Tamora Pierce. I keep trying. Like I keep getting her books and from the library and putting them around me, but I just never read them. A lot of my friends love them. Stephen King. I haven't read anything by Stephen King. I probably should, but I just don't read horror. Like horror is just not my thing. So I don't know. So what I'm doing here is I'm softening the book spines to keep them from cracking. Uh, so I go one page at a time, and I just like run my hand down along the centerfold like this. For those of you who are asking me, who are new, who just hopped on and are asking what I'm doing, I'm softening the spine so that the books become floppy like this, so that I don't crack the backs, because I have, this is like a 500 page book, and I'm definitely going to crack the spine if I don't. Okay. Where were we? Cat in box. Love you. Going to go read. Where was I? All right. I read The Host. Okay, so I have been recommended The Host. I started The Host, and it reads like like to me The Host reads very differently from Twilight. I've never finished The Host. I should. Like I have a friend who's like been begging me to read The Host for so long. But did I answer that I had heard of Warrior Cats? I have heard of Warrior Cats. I haven't read that one yet. Uh Twisted Love series. Isn't that, I thought that was contemporary. I don't read a whole lot of contemporary. Let's see. Finish The Host. Finish The Host. Well, I have a friend who like is really pushing me to finish The Host. I haven't yet, but it reads very differently to me than Twilight. I found that very interesting. So I have finished the first Twilight book. Team Hinny. Team Hinny. I don't know. Like, I know it's a controversial. I don't. I thought it worked. Like, it worked for me. Like, Hinny worked for me in the Harry Potter books, but I just, that was my favorite romance trope to read slash write. Oh gosh, I think any trope, almost any trope can be done well. I really like. Uh, oh gosh, that's a hard one. I like enemies to lovers a lot. I really do. That's a lot of fun for me to write. But right now I'm like probably on an arranged marriage thing. That's probably what I'm on right now. It's like I'm reading a lot of arranged marriage books and writing a lot of them too. So that's probably my favorite right now. I'm really good at writing. Thank you. Will I do more videos about the romance genres talking? I'm planning to. So I'm planning to. I'm trying to get. I have a few more concepts about it. Wow, a whole bunch of comments came in at once. Uh,
Too crazy cues.
Dangerous is my favorite book boyfriend. Oh, I love him. Uh, I don't reread a whole lot of books, honestly. Um, I have one book series that I have reread, um, and that one is the Time Quintet by Madeline L'Engle and her books. So I have reread An Acceptable Time. An Acceptable Time is probably by Madeline L'Engle is probably like one of my favorite books ever. But I haven't. I don't reread a whole lot. I don't think there's anything I reread every year. Um, the Twisted Love series is somewhat enemies to lovers. Okay, all caps. A lot of fans, a lot of love for the Twisted Love series in these comments. Uh,
All
right.
Stuff.
Wow. Okay. So Ella, I mentioned, I do have a video for that's my advice and resources for writers. I really recommend like any kind of writing, any kind of anything. Like if you want my advice on writing, to go check that out because that's all organized. And I think I linked to some things too. Um, but that would probably be best, most helpful. I think Christy, I also like, I have that video that's my advice for writers. Thank you. I am doing well. Marissa Myers is another person I have just like had a lot of trouble actually reading. Like I've heard good things about her books. I just haven't. Favorite piece of classic literature, that like really depends on what we call classic literature. Me and my brother, one of my brothers really enjoyed reading Jane Eyre last year. So he read it for a class and I read it for funsies. We both really enjoyed Jane Eyre. So like me and my early 20s brother both enjoyed it. I think that's a mark of like a good piece of literature. But I don't know. I would say favorite genre besides romance is fantasy. I love fantasy. Like fantasy is what kind of got me into romance in a roundabout way. Throne of Glass. So have I read Throne of Glass? Have I read Throne of Glass? I so Throne of Glass was originally on. It was a serial novel that Sarah J. Maas wrote. And so I wasn't part of the serial novel days, but I was part of the pre-release of the very first Throne of Glass book. So the Assassin's Blade, which is the prequels, those were originally released as ebooks, and so I read each ebook of the Assassin's Blade as it came out before the main release, and so I like pre-ordered that, and I was like back when they had like Facebook. Bloomsbury had like Facebook games. I won one of the Facebook games, and I had like a signed copy from Sarah of like the first edition. I don't have that. I don't have it anymore. But yeah, like I went to a signing with one of my friends and got like my first the first 3 books signed, and like stayed up all night to read every single book. Yes, I have read Throne of Glass is the short answer. Um, okay, where were we? Uh, I have been asked about Percy Jackson a couple times. I have not read it, unfortunately. Like I mentioned, I have a really good friend who's also into fantasy books, and he's like read Percy Jackson, and he's recommended me some other books that I really enjoyed. So like I've thought about it. Read, read Mary Lou. I have heard very good things. She has a Mary Lou had a DC novelization. She had like I think it was Catwoman her book. I don't remember. She had a DC novelization that I really wanted to check out. Um, have I tried Fourth Wing? I have not, but I have a friend who's reading it who's going to tell me if I should read it or not. Neil Gaiman. Oh, I read a Neil Gaiman book. I really liked. I think I've only read two Neil Gaiman books. I read Good Omens, and I've also read his Norse mythology book. They were both really good. That would be hard to pick, but I've only read two Neil Gaiman books, but like they were both very good. So it was hard for me to get into Stardust. I tried to read Neil Gaiman's Stardust because I liked the movie, but it was just difficult for me to get into. Thank you. Have an amazing day as well. My favorite part of writing is probably, I like the first draft a lot. Like the first draft is probably the least pressure on me. It's like the simplest part. So I really enjoy the first draft process. I Editing is not the most fun for me, but really needs to be done. Sarah J. Maas did write a Catwoman book. Okay, I know Sarah J. Maas also wrote a DC novelization. I could have sworn Marie Lu did one too, but I'm just drawing a blank on it. The Siri, that's an interesting name. Have I read Ted? I haven't read Ted Dekker either. Oh, you read Dangerous Outlaw. That's amazing. There's some big plot points in that series, and you get to see some of my favorite characters in that book. So I love that one. Oh, Shatter Me. I haven't read Shatter Me either. Um, Stardust is the least favorite one. Okay, I feel a little more validated now. But like I said, like I enjoyed his other books that I did read. Oh, okay. Sarah J. Maas wrote the Soul Stealer one. Yes, the Final Dangerous Empress audiobook is out. That one, it was earlier last month. I finalized everything, and it is now out. I have anti-vegan. If you look in my shop tab on my channel, you can see the links to my books. Oh, where was I? Oh, dear, have I read Pride and Prejudice? Yes. Yes, I've read all of Jane Austen's books. I think, what was it? Which one was my favorite? I really enjoyed Lady Susan. That one was hilarious to me, but I think my favorite was probably Persuasion, actually. I know it's like a harder one to adapt, but like I really like Persuasion. Oh, thank you. I love that you're reading more. What book is this? This is a dark romance duology that's in an omnibus. It's by Maria Louise. It's called Sworn. The books are called Sworn and Defied. But it is dark romance. So be warned. But I liked the author's other stuff. So I'm now reading this while I wait for the third book in her trilogy to come out. So, where was I? Yes, you did catch Alive. No, I didn't.
Someone said, "Please take care of yourself. Good morning to my mother." That's what the
Oh, thank
international
you.
text is.
Thank you. The Sandman manga. I would really like to read the Sandman manga. I liked the Netflix Sandman. Me and my husband watched the Netflix Sandman and we like really enjoyed that. But I'm bad at reading manga sometimes, so I would like to read it though. Um okay, so there's a lot of love for young adult in these comments. I haven't read that one either. Am I going to continue with the romance genre series? I think someone else asked this. I'm planning to. I'm working on a few concepts with it. Um, well, I have ideas. I'm planning to. I'm planning to is the short answer. So favorite romance book. I listed this book on one of my favorite books of all time. So I'm gonna have to say probably Vow of the Shadow King by Sylvia Mercedes. I really I really love Sylvia Mercedes books, and her Shadow King series was really good. So I'm gonna have to say that like my favorite romance is probably Vow of the Shadow King by Sylvia Mercedes, which is the second book in the trilogy. I haven't read the third book yet, but like the second book's really good. So that would be my favorite romance. Raven Rings. Hmm. Have I heard of that one? Have I heard of that one? I did read Tiger's Curse, actually. Yes, I did read Tiger's Curse. I read the first one. Um, I read the first Tiger's Curse, and I was just. I'm sorry. I wasn't in the mood for love triangles after I finished the first book. I was like, I was just. It was. It. I was mad about love triangles at the time, so I didn't keep reading the series. I'm sorry. It was just difficult. So, uh, oh, Dangerous Assassin is their favorite series you've read in years. Yes. Oh, thank you. As far as the reading order for Dangerous Assassin, on my website, if you go to any one of the books, in the description, there is a complete reading order. But the reading order is Dangerous Assassin is first, Dangerous Outlaw is second, Dangerous Traitor is third, Dangerous Sorceress is fourth, and Dangerous Empress is fifth. And The Archduke can be read at any time. It's a companion novella. I should read Powerless. Okay, duly noted. I will take note that I should check out Powerless. Powerless. Genre of classic literature. That's hard. Have I ever read Robert E. Howard's works? I have read his Conan the Barbarian. Like I've read all of his Conan the Barbarian works. Robert E. Howard's hometown is actually like 4 hours away from me. So my husband and I, we took a road trip out there for our first anniversary, and we stopped by his the house, his family house, Robert E. Howard's house. Um, Conan the Barbarian was a big inspiration for my Sansi series. So yes, I have. There are parts of Robert E. Howard that definitely didn't age well, but like he was very influential in a lot of ways, and so um, yeah, the short answer is yes. I have read I've read all the Conan stories from Robert E. Howard. Uh, have I read any of the Reardon Presents books? I feel like I did. I thought I did. I feel like I want to say yes, but I don't remember which one it was. So I'm not going to say yes definitively because I don't remember. I feel like I did. Um, Priory of the Orange Tree it's massive. It's massive and it scared me. Um, it's so big. Um, whoa. Comments are moving very quickly. Okay, lots of emojis. I'm gonna go order the Fancy series. Oh, thank you, Ella. Am I planning on writing any new series? Okay, this one's done. Am I planning on writing any new series? I have a new book that's planned for the winter. So going to be it's a Viking / Anglo-Saxon series that is going to be kicking off this winter. I've been reading a lot about Anglo-Saxon history, and I'm gonna probably do a video at some point talking about all the books I've read to research it. But still not historical. But have I read Heartstopper? I have not. I don't think I've read Keepers of Lost Cities. I know who Kira Cass is. Does that give me partial credit? I haven't read her stuff though. A new book. Oh yes, this is a new book. So this is the next one. This is Heir of Shadows by Sarah C. Wraithley. It's the third in a what's a quadrilogy? Quadrilogy, that's the word. It's the third book in a quadrilogy. So I have been putting off reading this one until I could get the I understand that I understand that this ends in a cliffhanger. So I was waiting until I could get the fourth book. And now the fourth book is out. So I'm going to be starting to read this one, but I love this series, Study in Shadows by Sarah C. Wraithley. So it's like the Witcher vibes, but not quite as nihilistic. So the Pegasus series, did I answer that? I have not read the Pegasus series, but I think I've heard of it. Why are the paperbacks so popular? It's a cost issue for the most part, as far as like paperbacks. It's just a way to mass produce books. That's why we do paperbacks, and also why we have like the small like mass market paperbacks. What was Paranormal Romance based on? It was kind of so most of them were not any particular book, unfortunately. It was just like tropes that I have a compendium of tropes I'm familiar with, and like real people I've known. So what did I think of The Cruel Prince? I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I actually really enjoyed the Folk of the Air series. Like I did. I was told it was a romance. It's not a romance at all. But it's very good. I think Holly Black is absolutely brilliant. So I want to be her when I grow up. Honestly, like if you sign up for her newsletter, like it's her last newsletter I got from her started out like "Hello, lovers and enemies," and I was like, "This is amazing! Like I love this newsletter so much." But I want to be Holly Black when I grow up. Is the short answer. And I love Carden and Jude and yes. Oh, werewolf or vampire books. Well, the vampire book that got me into romance was the Captive series by Erica Stevens. I don't know how good it is because I was a teenager when I read it, and I don't remember how good my taste was at the time. But I think someone else mentioned Maggie Stiefvater. I've been pronouncing that right now. Her Shiver series has werewolves. Those are both young adult series. I'm trying to find an adult vampire series I like. I haven't yet. A series that has werewolves in it is the Kate Daniels series. I'm really enjoying that one right now. But I like experience like any book by Alona Andrews. I just experience such an intense range of emotions when I read it. I kind of have to pace myself when I read their work. So, do I have a favorite sci-fi book? What is sci-fi? What sci-fi have I read? I do like some sci-fi. I really liked Alona Andrews, their Kinsman Universe, books. I really enjoyed those. Those are like probably my favorite. But I also really enjoyed Murderbot Diaries. Murderbot Diaries were incredibly good. I love those. Those were brilliant. Those were recommended to me by a friend. Absolutely amazing and like hilarious and very heartfelt and thought-provoking. So, I have not read Shadow Jumper or Icebreaker, but I do know what Icebreaker is. I think I do. I haven't read it. Do I read nonfiction? I read a lot of nonfiction. So I read a lot of historical books for research. I a lot of just funsies. Like I'm reading this one. I'm also reading some other like more relevant more what's it scientific nonfiction. But I'm drawing a blank on titles at the moment. Um, Thank you, Olive Thunderbird. So let's see. Laura Nolan. I can't speak to that one. I haven't read it, unfortunately. The Vampire Diaries. No, I haven't. Have I ever cracked a spine while softening? I did for the last one I did. The book Sound of Madness that I did on video, but it wasn't that bad. And I just like this one looks good, so um, I did do it. I should have been more careful. Um, oh, does there have to be a best book boyfriend? I haven't read Fourth Wing, so I can't speak to it. But who is the best book boyfriend? Like I don't want to rank them. They're all special in their own way. Oh, advice for getting back into reading with a busy life. I read a lot of audiobooks. So I listen to a lot of audiobooks while I'm out, like when on my commute, or when I'm out walking, running, or like when I'm doing housework. So that's I know a lot of I don't have kids, but a lot of my friends have kids, and a lot of my readers have kids, and so I have uh, and they've told me that like they can only listen to books with audiobooks, so I've always like ever since then made a priority to get like Dangerous Assassin in audiobooks, and my a lot of my other series aren't in audiobooks yet, but I am planning to get them into audiobook. So I'm actually getting ready to put new covers on my Warlords of the Sandsea series, and then I will be releasing those in audio as well. Uh, the Scythe. Did my brother read that? I feel like my brother read that. Let's see. So about our Akatar wedding? I didn't tell anyone what the theme was except for my one friend at the wedding who had read Akatar. I just said like I told my husband I want a black wedding dress, and he was like, "Yeah." He was super excited when I told him I wanted a black wedding dress, and I told my mother the colors of the wedding, and she was like, "Okay." And I told people things I wanted, and I didn't tell them why. So, but it didn't really matter because they knew that I was like into fantasy and stuff, and so they rolled with it because um, they but yeah, I had like one friend at the wedding. My friend, she's also an author, Eli Hins. She was the only one there I know of who had read Akatar, so I just told her like it's Akatar themed, and she was like, "Oh, I see it." But yeah, I didn't have to explain myself to anyone, so I didn't have a black veil. I didn't want a veil, so I didn't go for the veil, but I had a crown. The green crown that is part of my fantasy romance character. That was actually my wedding crown. So I kept it, but I didn't have a veil. I had a crown because I could. So thank you. Aw, thank you, Capri Sun. I'm glad. My favorite author, that's a hard question. Very difficult question. Um, Brandon Sanderson's in my top three. Sylvia Mercedes is in my top three. And probably Madeline L'Engle. So one of those three, either Madeline L'Engle, Sylvia Mercedes, or Brandon Sanderson. Somebody else was asking about the Divergent series. I have not read the Divergent series. I got spoiled on how it ended, and I don't do sad endings very well, So, unfortunately, oh, I hope you get to shelve your love book. Oh, thank you. Husband, you're commenting as yourself. Do I read any horror books? I think The Witcher is the closest I've come to reading horror, honestly. So I read a lot of the fantasy books I read have heavy horror elements. I used to be the only person in my family who'd go see horror films with dad, but I don't think I read horror. Come to think of it, actually. Um, One Little Live book compliment. Aragon, that's another series I got signed. Yes, I've read the entire Aragon series. I own Murtag. I have Murtag. Um, I'm scared to read it because I know, again, that I'm going to feel a lot of feelings. And so I will read it eventually. I'm just scared. A Court of Thorns and Roses, yes. I've read the first 3 books. My wedding was ACOTAR themed. I have a complicated relationship with the series. But I can't stop thinking about it. So my wedding was night court slash spring court themed. And I didn't tell anyone. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I've seen people bring this one up. I don't. I haven't read that one. A time period in history. I'm into Anglo-Saxon England right now, Anglo-Saxon Britain and the North Sea Empire. So it's probably like early medieval is my current hyperfixation. So, but like I bounce around. I was reading a book on the Tudor period. It's over there. I'm looking at it. It's called, I don't remember the author's name, but the book is called Black Tudors. It was a very fascinating book. Um, I have not read Six of Crows. I keep getting recommended it. I have been constantly recommended it, but I haven't read it yet.
What about
Caraval? Haven't read that one either. So I read a lot of random books, indie books. So moving is danger. Hi, Leah. I'm really glad you got back into reading, Leah. Dangerous Assassin. This is actually the most common question I get asked about Dangerous Assassin. Dangerous Assassin stays low spice the whole time. Books it ramps up. So each book has an escalating spice level. There's like sensuality and there's kissing in book 1, increased sensuality in book 2, and then it escalates like they're making out in book 3. And then there are there's like one open door scene in book 4, and then there's I think there's like 2 or 3 open door scenes in book 5. So it's what I would consider like a low spice level, but it does have spice in it, and so it depends on what like your idea of spicy is. Like everyone has different perspectives on it. So I'm not sure how to answer that question, but hopefully that helps. Honor, I'm gonna mispronounce this name. Honor Rancontour. The fantasy books, that does sound cool. Keeper of Lost Cities. I have not read. Okay, a lot of people love Caraval. Some people don't. It's like a book that has a lot of strong feelings, but I don't know. Do I like graphic novels? I haven't read any. Haven't really.
We have read a graphic novel.
We have read a graphic novel?
The White Sands.
Oh, does it count if it's an audiobook? It's a graphic audio novel. Okay, so technically we have read The White Sands by Brandon Sanderson, which is an audio graphic and an audio. But do I like ancient Greece? Complicated question. So why do I soften the book spines? It is because I don't like them getting cracked when I read them. I know some people don't mind that. Some people crack them intentionally, but I don't like that. So that's what I'm doing here. Non-spicy book recs, Kenley Davidson would probably be who I'd recommend for that. If you want like zero spice, I would recommend Kenley Davidson, her Elves of Abrea series. And who else did I read? Kate Strawlding also has some good like zero spice stuff that I would recommend if you want to like keep it on the low end of the spectrum. Um, Oh, thank you. Thank you, Leah. Tamara Heiner, I haven't. Greek mythology person, a Roman Empire person. Like I feel like if you learn enough about Greek mythology or the Roman Empire, you start to get complicated feelings about them. Um I've delved into both. So like I have had hyperfixations on both, and like I've been known to read quite extensively into both. Um Probably more Roman Empire though. It's really hard to understate the influence of the Roman Empire, but again, like I have complicated feelings about it. Um oh, thank you. I'm glad you got back into reading. Um so we do sell to Germany. Germany is actually, I think Germany outside the US is actually the top country we sell to. So we do have a fan base in Germany. We ship to Germany. A lot of our books are the books are Dangerous Assassin is available in Germany. But yeah, we love Germany here. uh, Finding books on a budget. I go to a lot of used bookstores. I go to a lot of used bookstores. Uh, very reality TV, but royal. They are. It's always messy too. Bosnia and Herzegovina. I don't remember. I don't remember. We sell to the whole European Union, but I don't remember. Unfortunately, I'd have to check that. Yes, I have read Folk of the Air series. I very much enjoyed it. We do sell in Canada. We ship all of our books to Canada. We actually shipped one out to Canada this morning. So the short answer is yes. Oh, the Argotolum series character's name. That was like my first series when I wrote when I was 15. I should do a video talking about how to pronounce all of my series characters' names. The Book Thief made me sad and I didn't read it. Like my little brother read it and told me about it. Have I ever burned a book? I don't think so, not on purpose. But who hasn't gone through like a weird phase? I don't think so. Okay, things are moving. Shannon Messenger. Keeper of the Lost Cities. Book Goblin loves all books. Book Goblin loves all books. Book Goblin can't choose books. Book Goblin's favorite book is the book she's currently reading. Shatter Me series. I haven't read that one yet. I'm somewhat familiar with it, but translations of Dangerous Assassin. This is the second most common question I get asked about. I don't have any current plans to get Dangerous Assassin translated. No, like I want to. There's quite a few languages I would like to get Dangerous Assassin translated into, but I don't. I would probably need to find a publisher in the countries I was going to be translating the language into. And I would probably need to have an agent for that. And at this time, I don't have an agent. So that's something that's like an eventuality, but I don't know when it will happen. So KF Breen, I keep seeing KF Breen. I haven't decided which of her series I want to try first. So that's been like my biggest problem with trying KF Breen. Do I like urban fantasy? I don't know if I like urban fantasy or not. I like Kate Daniels. I like Kate Daniels a lot. and I like what's it called? Hidden Legacy, the other Alona Andrews series. Like I like Kate Daniels and I like Hidden Legacy. I don't know if I like um the genre in otherwise. Um okay, Sin and Chocolate, good to know. At this time, we don't ship to Mexico, unfortunately, not directly. I believe that my books are on Amazon Mexico, though. So they are available there. I'm just not able to go direct at this point. Um, okay, I don't know how to pronounce your username, but if you, for authors, if you're looking for like writing advice, all of that, I do have a video called what's it called? It's called like three pieces of advice and four resources for writers or something. It's in there. It's on my profile somewhere. But that would like be the best. That would like be the thing. Oh, the Argotolum saga has me reconsidering. Thank you. That was my baby series. That was like the first book series I ever wrote. It's definitely young adult. um, Dark Hunter. Have I heard of that one? Do I know that one? Oh gosh. Okay, good to know about Serbian publishers. Okay, wow. Comments are moving quick. From Scotland. Oh, I have it right here. I have just stab me now, right here. Jill Barup followed me, and it was like the best day of my life. I've been watching her, what's it called? Her romance heroine, no, fantasy heroine series of shorts, and I was like, okay, I need to read this, and people keep recommending it to me. So I have heard of it. I own it. I'm planning to soften the spine on this and then read it. So the short the short answer is yes. I have heard of it. It is here. The Inheritance. You don't have, you're logged in as your other channel, I guess. Oh, okay. Yes, Argotolum Saga stays zero spice the whole thing. I really like Jill Barup. My friend who went to the Sarah J. Maas signing with me years ago. She's the one who introduced me to Jill Barup, so she has good taste. I love Jill Barup's sense of humor. I love her content. Husband, what do I think of Princess Donut? Is this your question? Oh, good lord. I love Princess Donut. I love Princess Donut, husband. What recommendation to read my series in? So there, it depends what you like. I really like Dangerous Assassin. I think Dangerous Assassin is like where I am the most mature as a writer. I think that's probably my best work so far. I would recommend starting with Dangerous Assassin. If you want like the thing that is closest to Dangerous Assassin, the Warlords series, the Warlords of the Sandsea series is probably closest to Dangerous Assassin, although Warlords of the Sandsea, is it zero spice? I think it is zero spice. I would call it zero spice. Like there's no on-screen like happy fun times. But if you want more like a YA story, then that would the Argotolum Saga would probably be the best fit. So, what was I? Da, 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 da. Who is who is Princess Donut? Oh gosh. Where was I? Is the White Sands for kids? I don't think White Sands is for children. I wouldn't think it. It read pretty mature to me. Not like inappropriate or anything, but like I think it was probably it read like any of Brandon's other stuff to me. Let me check my battery real quick. Okay, we're good. Did I already answer this? Am I freezing?
What?
I'm trying to see. tell if I.
On what? Freezing where?
The Book Goblin, 16
You
Souls?
still have video feed? Is that what
Oh, okay. All right. My chat was just frozen there for a second. Okay. All right. Here I am. All right. It's moving. Okay.
you-
So, 16 Souls, is that dark romance? I thought it was dark romance. Like I'm very hesitant to read dark romance. Like I read one dark romance series by accident, not knowing that it was dark romance. And now I'm reading another dark romance by that same author, but I don't I'm dipping my toes in very slowly to the dark waters of the dark romance pool. Is the baguette of bludgeoning doing okay? Um, why are you getting the doggy? Why are you getting Chonker? Where was, okay. The baguette of bludgeoning is doing very well on my bookshelf. I just haven't figured out how to bring said baguette of bludgeoning into a video. Oh, okay. 16 Souls is a paranormal romance. Okay. The baguette. Okay, my husband has brought me the baguette of bludgeoning, and this is Chonker. Hey, Chonker. You see with your Chonker? You see, baby? You see on the camera? Okay, you can go back to your nap now. Okay. The Dallas Cowboys. See. Hi, Chonker. Oh, she's behind me now. Okay, little Chonk. Okay, she's behind me now. Okay, good night to Denmark. The Chronicles of Narnia. Of course, I've read the Chronicles of Narnia. That was what got me into fantasy when I was 11. Duly noted. Thank you. I think she is very cute. Thank you. Chonker, do you want to get down? She's 16 years old. Hey, baby. You just want to take a nap? Okay. Okay. Oh, now we're a dog channel. Well, that is Schnee. She's my dog. I've had her since I was 11, and Christian, she became his stepdog when he married me. So, thank you. Oh, my brother's husband. No, babe. My brother's dog made it to 17, so I look like I'm in sackcloth at the moment. But okay, well, contemporary romance. Mafia Man is sus. Okay. I have not read her Radiant Curse. As far as I think I have, where is it? I think I mentioned that I have a video for writers, and that would have like all of my advice in it. But a lot of the things that authors struggle with really need practice. It's like it's any other art, unfortunately, like in my opinion. But I do have that video that has the advice for writers in it. Oh, thank you to Norway. Thank you to Turkey. Appreciate it. 16 Souls is a romance. May have to look into that one. At this moment, I am reading Towers of Midnight. It's the 13th Wheel of Time book. I'm on a quest to read every single thing by Brandon Sanderson, so I'm finishing up the Wheel of Time. Yeah. I like the books written by Brandon Sanderson more at this point. But I'm reading the Wheel of Time at the moment. I have not read Haunting Adeline, so I don't know that I would like that one. But I know a lot of people do. So thank you so much. I'm your favorite writer. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. working on bringing books to more countries. I'm almost done with this one. What can I do when I have a book slump? I'm still trying to figure out how to treat a book slump. If I read 16 Souls, all right, I'll have to let you know. Have I read Percy Jackson? I have not yet. I've mentioned this. The Green Ember series. I don't think so. I don't think I've read that. Oh, the Wheel of Time. That's what those emojis mean. Wheel of Time. So Holly, if you would like a Zero Spice series, I would recommend my Argatolum Saga. My Argatolum Saga is young adult, and that one stays clean throughout all 7 books. My Warlords of the Sand Sea is like it's like PG-13. My Warlords of the Sand Sea stays at like PG-13. My Dangerous Assassin goes up to like R. So if you would like a more like PG, it's PG would be the Argatolum Saga. PG-13 would be Warlords of the Sand Sea, and then R would be like Dangerous Assassin. So I hope that helps. Really surprised. I don't know. Have a great night. Hello from France. Hello to France. The Discworld series. Terry Pratchett gets recommended to me a lot. I think the only thing I've actually read by Terry Pratchett at this time is Good Omens, which he co-wrote with Neil Gaiman. I think that's right. So, but Good Omens was really good. So maybe I will read more of his stuff. I know that Brandon Sanderson has talked about Terry Pratchett a lot, and that Terry Pratchett was one of his major inspirations. So I've been meaning to check it out. I just haven't gotten to it yet. So, okay, where was I? I love Carden and Jude. Their relationship, their dynamic. I think Holly Black writes relationships incredibly well. I love the way she writes romance. I love the way she writes everything. I love the way she writes people. Okay, now some of you have been asking about this book. I'm about to start softening the spine on this one. So I'm about to. The 5th part of Dangerous Assassin is on Audible. The 5th Dangerous Assassin book has been on Audible for a little bit, actually. So, yes, Dangerous Empress is currently on Audible. So, where's I? Good luck, Cordelia. I have been there.
Have something to talk about plot pacing.
Do I? That's hard. Plot pacing is hard for me to make a blanket statement about it. I like really fast moving plots. I try to have fast moving plots. I don't know if I succeed all the time or not, but I had a college professor who taught me to just take out everything that took too long to read. And he wasn't even an English professor, he was a business professor, and he was like, say it in as few words as possible. And that advice really helped me with my pacing issues in writing my novels. So I don't think that's very helpful by itself, but really what I learned to do with pacing was just to take out all the unnecessary bits, because I generally prefer faster paced plots, but not everybody does. So I don't know if that's helpful or not. Favorite book I've read this year? I don't remember what books I've all read this year. Oh wait, I know which my well I know what my favorite. Oh well, it's probably tied. My favorite book I've read this year is probably Of Deeds Most Valiant by Sarah K. L. Wilson. So Sarah K. L. Wilson is an uh, romantasy author that I really like. I really like her stuff. She has a lot of like slow burn romance things. Like her Tangled Fae is very much has a lot of Holly Black vibes. I really loved her Bluebeard's Secret series. Like that series was phenomenal. And she wrote the series. She wrote the book. It's a standalone. It's a standalone fantasy. It's called Of Deeds Most Valiant, and it's about paladins. And not everybody can pull off paladins, but they're my favorite Dungeons and Dragons class to play. So good for her. She managed to pull off paladins. But probably Of Deeds Most Valiant by Sarah K. L. Wilson is my favorite book I've read this quarter. Um, yeah, yeah, I would have to say that. I don't remember everything I've read. Um, okay, where was it? Oh, thank you. Is it Dr. Pepper? Is it Dr. Pepper? Thank you, Dr. Pepper. I went to the Dr. Pepper Museum when I was a kid. I think that's in Waco, Texas. But yes, Texans love their Dr. Pepper. Um, has political plot and fantasy.
Dangerous Assassin by Elizabeth Wheatley.
Well, I mean, I write Dangerous Assassin has a lot of politics in it. Um, one of my friends, one of my buddies from college was like, "Your book has a lot of politics in it," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you, thank you so much from you. That means so much." Do you think about published in chapters? How come it's not a thing no more? I don't know. It's kind of becoming a thing in some circles, like on a like Gumroad. Um,
Royal Road.
Royal Road. It's not Gumroad. It's something else. Goblin not risking sun exposure. Well, the that door is shaded. Um, would I ever? So if you want like if someone has if you would like PG romances, I would recommend Kate Stalding. Kate Stalding has a lot of like Zero Spice romance. Kenley Davidson, her Legends of Abrea series also has like Zero Spice. That would be I would I would consider that like for like 12, 13. Would like 12, 13-year-old me would have probably jived really well with those books. I really enjoyed them. Um, uh, tips for writing political romance fantasy. I think I talked about this a little bit, where it's like it's just people with different interests and motivations interacting. And so I believe that when an author just gives characters good motivations and good development, just makes characters three-dimensional, then politics naturally evolves out of that. Because politics is just people with different interests and motivations interacting. So that would, and people have, there's lots of resources out there. Thank you, Holly. I hope that does help. That I really enjoyed like Aaron the Spare by Kate Stalding, especially. Check that one out. Do I self-publish? I am a indie author. Yes, I am. I've always been an indie author. Oh, where was I? Where was I? I saw a question. Murder mystery. W.R. Gingell has a mystery. What's it called? Is it called? It's I think it's her beauty. It's like her mask of something. W.R. Gingell. She has her Beauty and the Beast retelling is like a mystery. It's like a murder mystery, but it's also a fantasy romance. It's very cute. It's very cute. I really enjoyed that one. Um, I just use Word. I don't. I'm seeing Miss Mia is asking me about The Middle Mist. I haven't read that one. I'm not familiar with that one. Uh, oh, thank you, Holly. Thank you. Uh, if you would like a good romantasy, where romance is heavy and it's a plot that takes place in a fantasy world, Grace Draven is really good if you want like more an adult, uh, like it's an adult romance. Sylvia Mercedes uh, is also really good for that. So Sylvia Mercedes has a lot of really good world building. Grace Draven also has a lot of really good world building. I love Grace Draven's books. They're always like she just what's the phrase? It's like all bangers, no skips. Um, Grace Draven puts out really good stuff. So it makes my little epic fantasy reader heart happy while also making my little romance reader heart happy. So Grace Draven is probably like the best example I can think of that. Uh, Evermore, I have not. Um, Hello, Nancy. Glad to have you here. I appreciate you being here. Keeping motivated. So I have a spreadsheet where I track how many words I've written a day, and that's just like there's psychological reasons behind why that works, but I just keep count of how many words I've written in how much time, and I find that that's like one of the most effective ways to keep myself motivated. Uh, thank you. I don't want to mispronounce your name, but thank you. I appreciate you saying that I look pretty. Um, uh, who would be good for clean romance? Kenley Davidson and Kate Stralding. Kenley Davidson and Kate Stralding are really good for if you want like the zero spice romance. They have very like sweet romances. W.R. Gingell also has zero spice romance. Um, Fantasy romance and or action adventure. Um, Fantasy romance. I read a lot of fantasy romance. That's hard. Um, Morally gray characters. I don't know if I'm an expert in that. I don't know if I can be an expert in telling people about that. 15th birthday, romance and classic tropes. Uh, I really liked The Air and the Spare by Kate Stralding. That one, that one's not so much classic tropes. But for 15th birthday, let me think. That one might be hard. I really liked Gail Carson Levine. I really liked Gail Carson Levine when I was 15. Um, Spreadsheet. Book goblin voice. Oh gosh. What fantasy romance books do I recommend? Anything by Sylvia Mercedes. Anything by Sarah Kale Wilson. I'm trying to think of another one. I haven't read everything by Sarah C. Rafley, but I really enjoy this series, Study in Shadows by Sarah C. Rafley. This one's really good too. Besides mine, Dangerous Assassin. Did we participate in the Brandon Sanderson's Baccarat? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. My husband and I had a text conversation where we were deciding like what we were going to commit to this. And yes, we did. We did. We did. Oh. What? Which part would I? Oh gosh. Best tip for writing romance. That would depend on like what part you're struggling with. Um. All right. What am I breaking the spines of? I'm breaking the spine of Jill Barrett's book. So as she's pretty big on here, she followed me and it was amazing. And I like freaked out, and my husband was like, "Who is that?" But very excited. So like I have her book now. Um, all right. Book goblin. Something spines. So books are not broken. All right. All right, husband. Is that good enough? My husband was telling me to do the voice. I've done it.
Fastest time you read a book.
Fastest what?
Fastest time you read a book.
I feel like that's a complicated question because it depends on how long the book was. I've done like all-nighters of books, but like I read this one book that was like 600 pages in a single airplane flight. Um it was like a 4 hour, 4.5 hour flight. That might be I don't know my reading speed. Honestly, I don't know my reading speed. Um uh love the Book Goblin. Have I Between Love and Loathing? I haven't read that one. I think that's probably a book title. I haven't read that one. Um, I have. I follow the author of Iron Widow. I like the author's content a lot. I wasn't able. Was it? Iron Widow was very stressful for me to read. I. Why was? Let me think of how to explain why Iron. It was just a lot at the time. It was just. It's very emotionally heavy, and so I got through like the first part of Iron Widow and like the first I think 100 pages or something, and it made me really sad. And maybe I will finish it at some point, but at the time it just made me like super sad. Um, it's the same thing. Like I tried to read Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne, and that one also made me like super sad. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop because I'm sad right now. And so it just wasn't the right time for me to read it. It just wasn't a good day for me to read it. So I may try to read Iron Widow again. I may try to read Shadow of the Gods again. Um, but I haven't read them yet. Like I technically haven't read them at this time. Organic romance, but keeping it back burner. I would read books that have that. So to see how authors do that. A lot of classic fantasy does this. Let me think of a good example. Like I'm drawing a blank. I've suddenly forgotten every single book I've ever read as I try to think of an example. Like Mistborn does this well, I think. Mistborn handles the romance plot line well. Mistborn Era 2 also handles the romance plot line well. Husband, they say you're lucky. Good Night to Hungary. The Song of Achilles. I had a coworker who absolutely loved that book. But again, it sounds sad. So, um, I don't. I don't. I have a thing for sad books. They're hard for me. Where was I? Okay, the Reckoners trilogy by Sanderson. I have not read it yet, but I'm working my way through everything written by Brandon Sanderson. Um, 6 Crimson Cranes. I feel like that's on my list. I want to say it's on my list. Do I write spicy books? Depends how you define spicy. So a lot of people have different opinions and different like ideas of what makes a spicy book, and that's cool. I think I write low spice. It might be considered upper spice for some people, but I consider it low spice. But like I guess the short answer would be yes. Dangerous Assassin, I would say goes up to an R rating. Warlords of the Sand Sea is PG-13. Argotalum Saga is PG, and so my vampire series is also like PG. So, favorite book I've written, it's always the next one. I'm currently working on Thadrid's book, and Thadrid's book has been a lot of fun for a lot of reasons. Yeah, I'm working on Thadrid's spin-off book at the moment. Okay, Betty would consider Dangerous mid-spice. Um, I love the Folk of the Air series. I love that series. Holly Black does a very good job. Um, my opinion on BookTube. My nieces, but not my mom. Opinion on BookTube and Book Talk. I'm not sure what the question is there. I'm part of BookTube. I'm part of Book Talk. I don't. My opinion on it. I mean, it's a community of readers. I mean, I'm not sure what the question is there. I'm gonna need more. Oh, I don't know about overrated. I mean, if authors resonate for with different people, and even if they don't resonate with me, if they resonate with a lot of people, they resonate with a lot of people. And so it's like even if in my opinion I don't like an author's work, if they're popular, like if they hit a note with some of the people, like I don't want to tell people they're wrong for liking an author's work. So favorite author. Oh, I feel like I answered that. Um, all right, The Prisoner's Throne, I own it. But Holly Black is a good author, and she will make me feel a lot of things. So I need to wait for a time when I have the emotional capacity to feel all the things that Queen Holly is going to make me feel. So I haven't read it yet, but I own it. I also own The Stolen Heir. I think I do own The Stolen Heir. Do I own The Prisoner's Throne? I'm going to own it. I'm going to buy it. But yes. Wiltering Height books. Okay, comments are moving. Do I have a least favorite genre? I mean, I don't like reading certain genres. I don't read a lot of what would I not read a lot of? I don't read a lot of literary fiction, like straight literary fiction. Like some people call Ursula K. Le Guin like literary fiction adjacent. But like I don't think they're bad genres. They're just not for me. Where was I? If he had been with me, I think that's a contemporary romance. I don't read a lot of contemporary. Um, do, do, do. Farewell, Muriel B. Um, pressuring you to read The Stolen Heir. If you liked Folk of the Air, it might be worth your time. If you did not like Folk of the Air, probably not. So that would be my advice to Cordelia. Fiction, nonfiction, and I also read a lot of things. Dark Matter. I have not read that. I have not read Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Our dogs think most of us are crazy, I think. I have not read Zodiac Academy, but I have read The Witcher. I have read all of the Witcher books in existence. It was kind of funny because my dad watched the Netflix TV series. I read all the books, and my brothers played all the games, and we tried to talk about it, and that was an interesting conversation. But I did read all the Witcher books. Made me very sad. Also, I probably shouldn't have read them in 2020. Now that I think about it. But yes, I've read all the Witcher books. I think they were very good. I was impressed. Like I thought they were very impressive. Yeah, they were heavy. That was a lot. Yeah. So, I don't think I have heard of We Still Belong. I don't think I've read that one. Shadows Between Us. Um, Trisha Levenseller has been on my list for a while. That has been on my list for a while. I am 4 books into Kate Daniels. I've read the first 4 books of Kate Daniels, and I'm scared because I feel like a bunch of bad things are about to happen. So, but I own the 5th book. I own the 5th Kate Daniels book. I love Alona Andrews. I think they're brilliant. I like a lot. I like their stuff. They they actually shouted me out in a blog post back in September, and that was like the first time one of my videos really took off, was because they found my romance genre skits and they shared about it. So abs- best of everything to them. I'm deeply grateful, and I'd like already read their Kinsman series and loved it. So that was a big deal for me. um, the Witcher books are tough. The Witcher books are tough. They're tough. Like if you don't like enjoy them, I wouldn't recommend you continuing with them. I think that like they were good books. But like I think if you don't enjoy them, like you shouldn't. They do get progressively heavier. So um Legend Born. Legend, I feel like I've heard of this one. I don't think I've read it though. I believe I've read it. Phone actually restarted. I've never heard of Gregor the Overlander. That's a new one to me. Where was I? I feel like I answered the Warrior Cats question already. Let's see. Where was I? Where was I? No Spice romantasy recommendations. I think I mentioned this. Where was it? Kenley Davidson and Kate Stradling. Kenley Davidson and Kate Stradling. If you'd like Zero Spice fantasy romance recommendations, I would look into their stuff. Are these cycling? Are these looping? I have read Throne of Glass. Like I talked about that. Like I was part of the early crowd with Throne of Glass. Like I read the Assassin's Blade when they were prequel ebooks only. They had like the covers where the ebook covers had like glass shards on the outside on the design. It was like they were really good. But yes, I like went to a book signing with Sarah J. Maas after Air of Fire came out. That was a lot of fun. So oh, that's written by the same author as The Hunger Games. Do I have a current music hyper focus? I feel like I do. I've been listening to a lot of Paris Paloma. I've been listening to a lot of Paris Paloma songs and like random indie songs. Like I listened to a lot of Miracle of Sound. I listened to a lot of I listened to a lot. I listened to Windrose. It's dwarf metal. I took my husband to a dwarf metal concert, and he got to see like what I listen to when I'm rocking out. So, yeah, I introduced my husband to dwarf metal. That was so fun. For me at least. Okay. Good night to Europe. Um. Okay. I feel like have I read Cormac McCarthy? I don't actually know if I have or not. I can't. What fantasy series are worth reading? I can't answer that. It's like it depends what you want. Spirit that bares its teeth. That sounds very intriguing. I haven't read any Leigh Bardugo books, but like a lot of my friends did. Nora Roberts. Nora Roberts used to be contemporary romance, wasn't she? She wrote contemporary romance and then she started branching out into fantasy. But I haven't read her stuff. Share a birthday with Suzanne Collins. That's actually pretty cool. That's really cool. Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. I'm almost done with this. Daughter of the Pirate King. Do I like it? I haven't read that one yet, but I saw the new covers, and like the model they got for the new covers of Daughter of the Pirate King was someone I followed, and I was like, oh, I should read Daughter of the Pirate King, and then I never did. So Um, um, what was I? I had something. Where was I? Sorry. I feel like there was a question there. I have a Kindle around here somewhere. Okay, this one's done. It's all floppy. So, okay. Do I want to do one more? Okay, let me see what my phone battery is at. We have, we probably have enough phone battery there. Okay. Okay.
What's the next book?
Next book. Oh, this one. This one is Ashlyn, Breath of the New Creature. I'm not sure about this cover, honestly. Like, I'm not really sure about this cover, but one of my mutuals absolutely loves this book and has been strongly recommending it. So I'm gonna give it a shot, even though I'm not sure about this cover. I'm not sure about this cover. So, but I'm gonna take a chance. So, I'm here softening the spine so that I can read it. I don't think it's available in audio yet. Oh, have this. Oh, you read North and South. Oh, I loved North and South so much. I'm so glad you did too. That's awesome. Favorite book that's also a movie.
We don't own a TV.
Favorite book that's also a movie. I feel like I should know this though. Does that mean I like the movie? Oh, I don't know. I have to think about this. I'm drawing a blank. Like, I'm really bad about watching movies. I just am. I struggle. You love that book? Okay, well that's a good endorsement. Not Red Left the Sky Ball. Hello. Favorite book. Oh gosh, favorite book that the movie did dirty. That's such a controversial question because I don't like movie adaptations most of the time. Like, I don't like I will get so into the interpretation of the book and then I will watch the movie and I'm no fun. So like I try to just let movies exist as their own art form and let people who enjoy the movies enjoy the movies. I try not to think about my own opinion of the adaptations too much because I'm not a lot of fun. Other if I let my opinions come out and play. To treat. Author's continuing series decades after the last book. I think it's up to them. I mean, most readers would still like to continue the series, as far as I know. So, I think if they want to continue the series, or are able to continue the series, more power to them. Saddest book quote I've ever heard. Wow, that's challenge. The spiciest book I've read. Let me think for a second. Probably the one I just finished. Sound of Madness by Maria Louise. It's the second book in a series. It's a dark romance. So that's probably the spiciest one I've read, I think. At least that I can remember at the moment. But I don't read a lot of super spicy stuff. I read a lot of low spice stuff, but I don't. It's just how it shakes out. It's not like a moral thing or anything. Brando Sando. Should you read Fourth Wing? I don't know. It really just depends what you like. I can't answer that. I can't answer that. TV show based on the ACOTAR book series. I don't know how I will feel about that. I really wish we could get anime series. It's really hard to adapt romance to screen. Like romance books, it's harder to adapt them to screen, in my opinion. Especially like the spicy content. That's harder for like me in adaptations just because like that's actors, it's not the characters, and it's just like a more it's just like a mental disconnect for me. But like if they can make it work, they can make it work. Like they seem to have made Outlander work. So like the stars made Outlander work. So maybe Hulu can make Akatar work. Who knows? So um anime, I really wish we could have more anime adaptations. I would really love to see like anime become a normalized as an art form in the US for like a lot of these like um what's the word I'm looking for? I would really like to see anime adaptations of like a lot of these fantasy books and fantasy romance books. Um uh do I crochet or knit? That's a rather unexpected question. I haven't crocheted in a long time. Like I did when I was a kid, but I don't like when I was an early younger teenager. But I don't crochet anymore. Um, mhm. Am I a writer? I'm an author. I'm an author of 26 books. Yes, I'm an author. I have a store tab on my channel. Have my book been translated into other languages? Not at this time, but I would really like it to be. We're still working on that. Oh, hello to Holly's daughter. I don't. Hello, Holly's daughter. Thank you for your questions. Uh, oh, thank
Do
you.
you prefer cats or dogs?
Cats or dogs? Oh gosh, I've never had a cat. I was never allowed to have a cat. So, I'm like, I showed dogs in high school. I worked in a vet clinic. I worked in a dog kennel. But I think cats are cool too. I've just never had a cat. I've always had dogs. So I guess I'm a dog person by default. But I have nothing against cats. Cats are cool too. Like I love cats. Um, thank you, girl with glasses. I appreciate that. Is it Kafia? I would I ever consider writing outside the fantasy genre? I don't think I could. I think there will always be a supernatural elements in my stories. Like I might write out of romance eventually. Like, but there would like, but I don't think I would ever write outside the fantasy genre. Like, I really like fantasy. I really like supernatural elements. Like, there will be some supernatural element in pretty much everything I ever write. Like, I'm pretty sure of that. Even if I write like urban fantasy, it would still be fantasy. Um, uh, reading and relaxing. When did I start reading these kinds of books? So fantasy books. I started reading fantasy books when I was like 11, I think. I read the Chronicles of Narnia, and then it kind of just spiraled from there. Are you talking about getting me a cat, husband?
Yeah.
My husband has been reading this book called Dungeon Crawler Carl, this book series called Dungeon Crawler Carl, and there's a cat in it called Princess Donut, who's one of the main characters. And so I've told him that like I want this book series to brainwash him into getting us a cat, because I've always wanted a cat and I wasn't allowed to have cats because my dad was allergic. But I want a cat, so I'm hoping that this lit RPG book series my husband is reading will brainwash him into getting me a kitten or an adult cat. I'm fine with either, just for the record.
No problem with cats.
Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I haven't read that one. People, I've seen this question a couple times. Like y'all are asking, Princess. The series is Dungeon Crawler Car. Husband, can you answer that question since you're okay? My husband's reading that book. The last book that made me cry was probably Dangerous Empress that I wrote. So I made myself cry, honestly. But I guess that would be the honest answer. Did I cry? I don't remember. I just been sad. Like usually I just get sad and walk around staring at walls after I read books. Contemporary romance also needs to have a cat. Oh. Donut. She's an excellent cat. The last book I read, or the last book I finished. So the last book I finished was a dark romance book, but the last book I read was Towers of Midnight. I'm working my way through the Wheel of Time. And so the last book I read was Towers of Midnight, and I'm like 10% of the way through that one. I'm trying to get through the whole Wheel of Time because I'm like 13 books in now, so like why wouldn't I finish it? So, oh gosh. Okay. I am softening the spines of these books one page at a time and just running my hands along the center fold here so that I don't crack them when I read them. Oh, that's a poor stray cat. Thoughts on Harry Potter? So I read Harry Potter as an adult. I wasn't allowed to read it as a kid. So I read it as an adult. What are my thoughts on it? I understand why it captivated a generation. There are a lot of things about it that are very, like the books grow with the child. So like they were published every year, and so you can see like how they get more mature and they get more complex and they get longer. I wasn't like they were good. I thought they were good. I wasn't what's the word I'm looking for? My wedding was ACOTAR themed, not Harry Potter themed. So, but I enjoyed them. My author friends, my what's the word? My fantasy, one of my really good fantasy reader friends, like he loved Harry Potter. He writes Harry Potter fan fiction. So, yeah. Where was I? Okay, let me see. Do, 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 do. I have not heard of the book called Hokey. What, babe? The yellow one? Oh, my husband and I co-author a book. Well, I mean, it works for Alona Andrews, right? They're a husband and wife author team. I don't know if I would co-author with someone. I know some people who have done it successfully. I don't know. I don't know if I would co-author with someone like that. That would be an interesting project. Bookbinder in the comments. Oh, hate paperbacks. Oh well, they're cost effective and they're lightweight. So, I own The Stolen Heir. I haven't read The Stolen Heir. I will probably be acquiring Prisoner's Throne soon. I haven't read Mafia Nanny either. See, favorite Harry Potter character? I've said Draco Malfoy. That's a hard question for me, honestly. Probably, but like favorite ship. The favorite canon ship. My favorite canon ship would be Nymphadora Tonks and Remus Lupin. I really liked their dynamic. Non-canon ship would be Dramione. So in another universe, Draco Malfoy and Hermione. Anyway. Make more of the romance genres video. I want to make more of the romance genres videos. I just need to come up with like ideas for them again. And I'm because I read mostly fantasy romance, so I get like a whole bunch of ideas for that character, and I need to read I need to read more contemporary and like historical romance to get ideas for those characters. But so I have been reading more historical romance and like contemporary romance. But I do plan to do more stuff with them. I just haven't done it yet. So favorite use of magic. So like for complex magic systems, like I honestly think Brandon Sanderson does it really well. Like Brandon Sanderson has what's considered like hard magic systems. What he does with investiture. I found the what Brandon Sanderson does with investiture and the Sunlit Man is really cool. The Sunlit Man was one of the secret projects, and so I really liked the Sunlit Man. Um, I have not read Manacled. I have not read Manacled, but it's coming out as a book now. It's going to be called Alchemized, and it's releasing next year. So I'm planning to read it when it comes out on when it's like regularly published. But I haven't read the whole fan fiction, and it's in part because I don't like ebooks are hard. Yes, softening book spines is a thing. I'm trying to keep this one from getting cracked. So, um, I'm turning the book upside down so that I don't see spoilers while I'm reading it. Hopefully I don't see spoilers while I'm reading it, and hopefully you don't either. I don't think so. Why am I being told to prepare tissues? Wait. Oh, I'm scared now. Excited for you to read Dangerous Assassin, always. I've not read Crave. I've not read anything by Tracy Wolff, but I keep like I might go through another vampire. I might go through another vampire phase. I might go through another vampire era here soon. Just because, just for funsies. Where should you start with Miss? I would start with Mistborn. Start with Mistborn. Start with Mistborn if you're gonna read Brandon Sanderson. Like that's probably like the best entry point that I can think of. I read a lot of nonfiction. Let's see, someone's asking. Katie Reed is asking if I read nonfiction. I read a lot of nonfiction. I read a lot of historical books. I read a lot of like what is it called? Like on various topics. Like I'm reading one that's on neuroscience right now. I'm what, babe? What? Aww. I am working on Thadred's book right now. So I was working on Thadred's book this morning. So I'm having a lot of fun with Thadred's book. Thadred is so snarky. I love his sense of humor, and I really love Sarah as a character too. I really love her as a character. Romance books where the love interest is a ghost. I don't think I read it, but I know of books. I know of books where they're ghosts. I read any Mercedes Lackey. I did. I read her. Is it Heralds of Valdemar? It's the one with the magic horses. I read the one with the magic horses, and there's this song called Carowin's Ride that is associated with the Valdemar books. And my brother sent that song to me, and he said like the song is called Carowin's Ride. It's about Mercedes Lackey books. And my brother sent that song to me, and he's like, this is about you and me, Ma, and who's our grandmother. And I was like, oh, that's so touching. And he's like, you would be Carowin. And I was like, oh, that's so touching. So now like I don't know anything about Carowin except that she's in a book that's by Mercedes Lackey. So now I need to read Carowin, the book with Carowin in it because of reasons. No other reason. Yes, I soften the spine. I do soften the spines. Oh, I'm excited for Thadred and Sarah's story too. Oh, you read A Dangerous in a Mirror story in a couple of weeks. That's very touching to me. I'm very excited for that. So which book I'm softening is Ashlyn, the New Creature, Breath of the New Creature, which was recommended to me by one of my mutuals. So, and we have like similar tastes. So, I'm going out on a limb. I'm gonna read this one. So, um, thank you, Betty. Good to see you. Glad you could stop by. Well, thank you. Oh gosh, I'm almost done with this one. It's getting floppier progressively.
Your,
My battery? I'm checking my battery real quick. Okay. I might have enough battery to last through me doing this book. I have not read School for Good and Evil. I know that one. I remember when it came out. I remember when it came out. I was the target age when it came out. If have I read Twilight, and if I have, am I Team Edward or Team Jacob? I'm Team Charlie. I feel like he should have been the main character of that series. I feel like it would have been neater. But like no shade to the Twihards. No shade to the Twihards. One of a very good friend of mine loves Twilight. Twilight got her into reading. Twilight got her into writing, and she's like one of my dear friends. So I will never ever be able to say anything too negative about Twilight just because of that. So I'm grateful to Twilight for that. But I think I was too old when I read Twilight. I think I was, yeah. It just wasn't for me when I read it. So is the Book Goblin based on me or a friend? It's based on me. So Book Goblin is based on me. Yeah. Where's Book Goblin today? Book Goblin is getting ready to read. Book Goblin has like softening all these spines so that these books are ready to read. So oh, I got Rain back into reading. I'm so excited. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Stay Forever. This is probably not going to surprise you, but I'm a Slytherin. I was sorted into Slytherin, as was my brother. My husband is a Ravenclaw, so have I read the Inheritance Game series or anything by Jennifer Barnes? No. I haven't, unfortunately. Red Flags in the Love Story, yeah. Yeah. Red Flags in Twilight. Have I read Cassandra Clare Mortal Instruments? I read the first book. My cousin absolutely loved them. She had the whole series. I read the first book. I got to. I don't want to give spoilers, but I got to the end, and I kind of panicked. I kind of freaked out when I got to the end of the first Mortal Instruments book. When I got to the twist at the end, and I googled spoilers for the spoilers, but I that just freaked me out. That just flipped me out. So I didn't finish it. But my cousin loved it. My cousin loved that series. I know a lot of people did.
Did you ever get into fan fiction?
Did I ever get into fan fiction? Technically, I technically wrote Narnia fan fiction when I was 11. I wrote it by hand in a notebook. So technically, I guess yes, but I haven't read a whole lot of it. Like I have a friend who writes it, but I read some of his stuff, but I haven't read a whole lot of it. I do listen to audiobooks. I do listen to audiobooks if I can't get through the print book. I did that.
Times speed.
I listened to La Morte d'Arthur by Sir Thomas Malory at like 3 times speed because it was not my thing. Because I just wanted it to be over with.
You need to make a video on that.
Oh, La Morte d'Arthur?
No, about reading speed.
Do I consider audiobooks reading? I mean, like, sure, why not? I always do. You love Dangerous Assassin? Thank you, Neve. I appreciate that. Opinion on Warrior Cats? I don't know. I haven't read Warrior Cats. I don't remember why. Oh, I think I just wasn't supposed to read them when I was a kid, and then I just didn't. Um, what book author got me into reading? Margaret Henry. So, Margaret Henry was she wrote historical fiction about horses. I was a horse girl as a kid, and so I read Margaret Henry books, and that was uh, I was homeschooled, which may not surprise anyone. But my mom would trick me into learning history by giving me books about horses. And so I would read these books about horses. And she gave me this one history curriculum that was like the history of the world is told through the horse. And so that was that was how I learned history, was horse books and Margaret Henry's horse books. Uh, what kind of books do I write? I'm a fantasy romance author, so I write fantasy romance. Um, I that's my thing. That's my spot where I've landed that like works for me. All my books have some sort of fantasy and or romance element, I think, except for like my Fang series. Maybe my urban fantasy isn't quite as romantic as the others, but yeah.
Dave, would you ever consider doing a boot camp, a 6 week or 3 week?
A 6 week or 3 week boot camp? Why would we? What would we be doing? I'm confused.
Book camp, I don't know.
Good
Camp.
lord. They write history books from a horse's perspective. Margaret Henry did that. She did. She wrote she wrote history books about horses, and sometimes it was like from the perspective of a person who was involved with the horses, but they were history books about horses. So um, they're things. It was a thing. Any recommendations for people just getting into fantasy? Well, some new fantasy readers have liked my Dangerous Assassin series. But I would say Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson is probably my recommendation. If you're just if you like you just want to get started in fantasy, I would say like Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, honestly. Um Book Goblin merch is available in the US still. So it's in my store tab. At this point, I haven't. It's only available in the U.S. right now, sadly.
Are we gonna get more merch
Uh,
for Book Goblin?
Book Goblin, more merch. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at like some options and like with the artist who did the Book Goblin art. I may contact her with like some additional options. But I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure just right now. Um,
Are you a Swiftie?
Am I a Swiftie? Yes, I am. I am a Swiftie. I'm a Taylor Swift fan. Um. Favorite book? I have a top 5 favorite books. I may have to make a video about that. Is Lord of the Rings a good series? It was a landmark series. I'm of the controversial opinion that it wasn't perfect, but I love a lot of things about Lord of the Rings. I think it was transformational for its time, and I'm very grateful it exists because like now we get a whole fantasy genre. So it's not like I understand why people have difficulty reading it, but yes, I think it was good. It did what it was supposed to do. So people are saying you're lucky, babe.
I'm very lucky.
Okay, lovelies. Well, I have finished this up, finished softening all of these spines. So I can take a couple more questions. Hi, Neve. Uh, I'm glad you enjoyed Dangerous Assassin. It's very good to hear. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I'm guessing it's Legend of Lorien. Lorien? Is that how it's pronounced? Interesting. So, Clan of the Cave Bear Do I own that? I love performing as Book Goblin. It's just a lot of work. But being Book Goblin is a lot of work because the voice is challenging. Um, this is the most common question I get asked. Is my book spicy or not? Dangerous Assassin is gets progressively spicier throughout the series. So book one is like kissing some like they kiss twice, 2 or 3 times, I think. Book two they make out. Book three is like even more making out, and book four has like 1 or 2 open door scenes. Um, book five has 2 or 3 open door scenes. So like I don't know that I would call it smut per se. I would call it low spice. Like it would be R rated in a movie. But I'm not like it always depends. It's always the perspective of the person. I would say it's low spice, but that's just my perspective. So um let's see. So the books I have been so we are getting wrapped up here. But the books I have been softening, their covers are Blood Duet by Maria Louise. That's a dark romance. The other one I softened was Heir of Shadow by Sarah C. Wraithley. This is a very good series. It's vampires. It's vampire romance, but like in a Witcher-esque type setting. Let's see. And then I have this one, which is by Jill Barrett. Many of you have recommended this book to me. Many of you have recommended this book to me. So I am excited to read this. It's like for many reasons, but Jill Barrett's content is really great. By the way, she's on YouTube, Jill Barrett. Very cool. She followed me on the Clock app, and I was so excited. I like lost my mind that day. But and then the last one I have been softening is Ashlyn, Breath of the New Creature, which is also fantasy romance and was recommended by one of my mutuals. So,
Queen Victoria's in the chat there.
Queen Victoria's. My husband is reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, which my husband mentioned what he's reading currently in the chat. So, and I've mentioned that I'm really hoping that book series makes him want a cat, because I want a cat. So, yes, thank you for joining me for almost 2 hours. My phone battery is fading, so I'm gonna have to wrap up here. Thank you very much to everyone who has joined me this afternoon, and I appreciate you all. I love you very much, and I will